You're going to watch stars collide, planets align in ways that won't repeat for millennia, and witness explosions that dwarf anything human civilization has ever created. And here's the thing that'll blow your mind. None of this is speculation. These events are already locked into the cosmic calendar, guaranteed by the laws of physics, and they're all happening within a single human lifetime. Your lifetime. Right now, the universe is setting up the most spectacular show it's performed in centuries, and we've got front row seats. Look up tonight and you'll see what appears to be an eternal, unchanging canvas. But that's the greatest deception the cosmos has ever pulled on us. Because right now, invisible to your eyes, gravitational dominoes are falling. Binary stars are entering their final death spirals. Planets are lining up in configurations that mathematicians once thought were theoretical impossibilities. And the light from explosions that happened when Egyptian pyramids were still being built is finally about to reach our eyes. The universe doesn't care about our timescales, but every once in a while, through sheer mathematical luck, its grandest performances sync up perfectly with human lifespans. This is one of those times. In 2026, possibly even within the next few months, something will appear in the night sky that breaks every rule you thought you understood about stars. You'll look at Corona Borealis and see a new point of light shining almost as bright as the North Star itself. It wasn't there yesterday. It won't be there next month. But for a few glorious weeks, it'll rewrite the constellation maps. This is T Corona Borealis going nova, and what you're witnessing isn't a star being born. It's a cosmic vampire feeding until it chokes. A white dwarf, the crushed core of a dead star packed so densely that a teaspoon of it weighs as much as an elephant, has been stealing hydrogen from its companion for decades. That hydrogen piles up on the dwarf's surface, temperature and pressure climbing until the laws of physics leave only one option: thermonuclear detonation. The explosion will release more energy in seconds than our sun produces in a year. But here's what should make your brain hurt. That explosion already happened 3,000 years ago. When ancient Greeks were naming these constellations, this light was already racing toward them through the void. It's been traveling for 3 millennia just to reach your retina tonight. But novas are just warm-up acts. In April 2029, something far more visceral will happen. Something you'll feel in your bones even though it's happening in space. Apophis, an asteroid the size of the Eiffel Tower, will scream past Earth at a distance closer than our communication satellites. Think about that for a second. A mountain of rock and metal moving at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour will pass between Earth and the machines we use to broadcast television. In Europe and Africa, you won't need a telescope. You'll see it with your naked eye, a bright dot sliding across the stars like a bullet across the night. Early calculations in the 2000s gave this rock a collision probability high enough to trigger genuine international concern. An impact would have released energy equivalent to hundreds of nuclear weapons, carved a crater dozens of kilometers wide, and turned an entire region of Earth into a hellscape. But orbital mechanics, that beautiful, ruthless mathematics, saved us. Apophis will miss, but it won't leave unscathed. At closest approach, Earth's gravity will physically warp this asteroid. Our planet's tidal forces, the same ones that pull on our oceans, will stretch and squeeze hundreds of thousands of tons of solid rock. The asteroid will experience quakes. Its rotation will change. Its orbit will be permanently rewritten by our gravitational fingerprint. We won't just observe Apophis, we'll reshape it. Then in August 2027, before Apophis even arrives, the sun will die. Well, not really, but for 6 minutes and 23 seconds it'll vanish completely, swallowed by a lunar disk that will seem impossibly, terrifyingly huge. This won't be just any eclipse. This will be the longest total solar eclipse of the entire 21st century, a perfect storm of orbital geometry. On that specific day, the Moon will be at its closest possible approach to Earth, while simultaneously Earth sits at its farthest point from the Sun. The result? A shadow nearly 300 kilometers wide will slice across the planet from Spain to Yemen at 2,500 kilometers per hour. You couldn't outrun this darkness in a fighter jet. The Egyptian pyramids will plunge into midday night. Mecca will vanish under the Moon's shadow. And for those 6 minutes, you'll see something most humans never witness. The Sun's corona, that ghostly atmosphere of superheated plasma, will bloom around the black circle where our star used to be. You'll see prominences, loops of plasma larger than Earth itself, arcing into space. The temperature will drop. Animals will panic. Stars will appear at noon. Then, as precisely as it vanished, the Sun will return. Fast forward to December 2032, and you'll have the chance to watch something genuinely unprecedented. An asteroid impact on the Moon. Well, almost. For months, astronomers tracked asteroid 2024 YR4, a 60-meter rock on a collision course with the lunar surface. The probability sat at 4.3%, high enough to be terrifying. Unlike Earth, the Moon has no atmosphere to vaporize incoming objects. This rock would have hit at full cosmic velocity, detonating with the force of 15 megatons, hundreds of Hiroshima bombs worth of energy concentrated into a single point. The explosion would have ejected millions of tons of lunar regolith into space, potentially shredding satellites in lunar orbit, and created a fresh crater we could photograph from Earth. But refined calculations have canceled the show. The asteroid will miss by 21,000 kilometers. Close enough to make you hold your breath, but orbital mechanics don't deal in almost. Still, for anyone who enjoys cosmic near misses, December 2032 will be a date to remember. But if you want true spectacle, if you want something that'll make you question whether reality has glitched, mark your calendar for August 2050. On that night, Mars will dominate the sky like a blood-red moon, shining so brightly it'll cast shadows on Earth. You might think a supernova exploded nearby. You'd be wrong. This is just Mars deciding to get intimate. Normally, the red planet hangs out between 225 and 400 million kilometers away, a respectable distance for planetary neighbors. But in August 2050, Mars will reach the closest point to the Sun in its orbit at the exact moment Earth passes directly between them. The distance will collapse to a mere 55.9 million kilometers, the closest approach of the entire century. Through even the cheapest amateur telescope, you won't see a fuzzy red dot. You'll see a world. You'll see the polar ice caps. You'll see the Valles Marineris, a canyon system that would stretch across the entire United States. You'll watch global dust storms swirl in real time. For a few weeks, Mars won't be an abstract concept or a distant point of light. It'll be a tangible, visible planet hanging in our sky, close enough to feel like you could reach out and touch it. Then in July 2061, something will return that most people alive today have never seen and never will see again. Halley's Comet. This isn't just another ball of dirty ice. This is the comet that broke humanity's fear of the heavens. For thousands of years, comets were omens, harbingers of plague and war and divine anger. They appeared without warning and vanished without explanation. Then, Edmund Halley proved something revolutionary. These weren't random acts of cosmic chaos, they were clockwork. Halley's comet orbits the Sun every 76 years, locked into a gravitational dance as predictable as planetary motion. It's the only comet a human being has any chance of seeing twice in one lifetime. Its last visit in 1986 was, frankly, disappointing. Earth and the comet were on opposite sides of the sun, separated by vast distance. The legendary celestial visitor looked like a gray smudge even through binoculars. But in 2061, we get our revenge. Orbital geometry will align perfectly. We'll be on the same side of the sun at optimal viewing distance. The comet's tail, that magnificent streamer of vaporized ice and dust stretching millions of kilometers into space, will blaze across the night sky. You'll understand why ancient civilizations built religions around these objects. Then it'll vanish again until 2013-40, long after everyone reading these words is gone. But if you think a comet is impressive, wait until you see two stars destroy each other. In 2083, a new star will suddenly appear in the night sky, brightening over a matter of days until it outshines every other point of light except the moon. This isn't a supernova. This is something rarer. This is Visagite, a binary system currently locked in a gravitational death spiral. A white dwarf is vampirically draining its companion star, sucking away plasma and mass. This theft is slowing their orbit, pulling them closer together year by year. In 2083, the mathematics becomes inevitable. The two stars will merge in a catastrophic collision that triggers a thermonuclear explosion visible across the galaxy. For weeks, this new light will dominate the sky, altering constellation patterns that have remained unchanged for all of human history. Then, gradually, it'll fade, leaving behind a single hybrid star, the corpse of two stellar bodies that once danced separately. This will be the largest cosmic catastrophe visible to the naked eye in our lifetimes. Make sure you have both eyes ready. Then, in March 2092, Jupiter will perform a magic trick. Its four largest moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, those worlds we've studied and photographed and dreamed of exploring, will vanish. They'll merge into a single point of light or disappear entirely, swallowed by the planet or its shadow. This isn't a catastrophe. This is geometry showing off. Earth will pass perfectly through the plane of Jupiter's moon system at the exact moment those moons align in an exceedingly rare orbital parade. Some will transit across Jupiter's face, blending into the cloud bands. Others will slip into the planet's massive shadow, invisible from our perspective. Ganymede will eclipse Europa. Callisto will disappear behind Jupiter's bulk. For a few hours, the Jupiter system will look fundamentally broken, like someone deleted half the moons from the simulation. Then, as Earth's perspective shifts, they'll reappear one by one, the cosmic illusion complete. These aren't fantasies. These aren't maybes. These events are already in motion, locked into trajectories calculated with mathematical certainty. The light from some of them is already traveling toward us through the void. The gravitational dominoes are already falling. We just happen to be alive at the exact moment in history when they'll all land within a single human lifetime. The universe operates on timescales that make human existence look like a camera flash. But every once in a great while, its clockwork aligns with ours. This is one of those moments. The sky above you isn't static. It's a countdown, and the shows are about to begin. So here's my question for you. When these moments arrive, when novas flare and asteroids scream past and planets align in ways they won't again for centuries, will you be watching? Will you look up? Or will you let the greatest performances in the cosmos happen while you're staring at a screen, unaware that the universe just put on a show it's been rehearsing for millions of years? Let me know in the comments which event you're most excited to witness. And if you want to make sure you don't miss when these cosmic moments arrive, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the universe waits for no one. But it's worth watching when it moves.